I don't think he's ever met a fact that he liked unless he made it up. Okay? That's where I'm at.
This could all go horribly wrong at any minute.
Hello there, and welcome to the 189th edition of Lewis Black's Rantcast, entitled The Whale in the Room. This is going to be a shorter than expected rant from me, or whatever this intro is that I do, whatever you want to call it, because I'm still celebrating my birthday, and it is. I've got to leave here shortly for Buffalo. I've done this rant once. I don't feel like it came out successfully. Where I'm going to try it again, and I think if I slow it down, and but let's start with the whale in the room, and you'll be hearing about that. I'm passing that job off to my friend Mildred Ellison. She's always someone that I could rely on for a great ranter and news clip, and she certainly made me aware of something that happened to our friend Robert Kennedy Jr., who dropped out of the race. I use the word friend loosely, friend only in the sense that he certainly seems to give us a lot of stuff to do, and talk about. He's certainly, one could say he's the most eccentric, one could say this, character to ever run for the presidency, but he's decided to leave because of a variety of things, like nobody's interested. That always makes it tough to run a campaign. And so he is, but there's yet another story out there, and I will let her. He is the whale in the room, and he's left the room, and we'll be joining the other whale, our friend Donald Trump. And I wanted to catch you up just for a moment on the great time that I had in Huntsville, Alabama. I've been there a number of times. I wanted to get down there, get my act in order, and I wanted to take a good look at the city again. And I don't know, I may end up spending time there during the winter. We're always looking, me and my friends, for where to go in the winter. It's not it's not as warm as Arizona or Florida, but it's warm enough, and it is nice, and the food is great, and they've got the Harrison Brothers hardware store, which I just discovered, which is an extraordinary museum. I rarely find myself in the position of going into hardware stores. My father did a lot with tools. I have friends who work with. I have a lot of friends who work with tools. I do not, and I found myself fascinated by this truly different museum. They basically kind of put in the things that were around there. I went in. I saw things I hadn't seen in years. And it goes back to 1888, I believe, and with the original glass, some of it on the windows, and some other kind of exhibits in there. But it really is about the museum and a friendly staff, an extraordinarily friendly staff, who truly it takes great joy out of relating the tales of the hardware store and of Huntsville. As many of the folks there do, they are proud of their history, and it's nice to see a town that is not afraid of its history and wants to share it, and does it in a variety of ways with signs everywhere. Tallulah Bankhead was born there. What more could you ask for? And Google it, those of you who don't know. And certainly one of a small American town, a city, 210,000, well worth a visit, seriously. And just for Rocket City, USA, it is here that the rockets were made, and the designs were done, and as an extraordinary museum, it's where kids go to space camp. So I just wanted to pass that along. And there's nothing to scream about there, nothing at all. I've got a lot of things I could scream about, but I'm going to save that. I'm collecting my energy. Why is Lewis being so low key today? Well, I'm still in the throes of the joy of my birthday and trying to. maintain a certain amount of not getting enraged over the fact that I'm getting old is not something I fucking enjoy. Excuse me. Um, but I do want to save the energy up because we've got this campaign that's going to take off. My next Rantcast will probably be dwelling, if I have the courage to watch the debate. If the debate takes place, we'll see. But I know that the next 60 some odd days is going to make me psychotic. So I want to be prepared, have it all down here in the midst of my chest, ready to release the pain that I'm sure I will be feeling. The pain, the frustration, the anger, the irritation. You should know that in Florida this week, the state tourism website quietly removed its pages with resources dedicated to LGBTQ travel because I guess LGBTQers are not showing up there. So they said, "Oh, let's take this out since we've decided we're not interested in them as a group, and we don't believe really that people should have the choice to live their life the way they want." What? What? How? They're, oh no, we don't want those tourists. Really? That's what you exist on down there. Okay? That is a chunk of it. All right? So get the information out to people. And if you haven't the courage to do it, give up your statehood. But seriously, quietly removed it. How do you can't quietly remove it. You removed it. So it's not quiet. It's removed. It's gone. Got a few more things to share with you. And then I'm finished. After the, that's still the Hellman's mayonnaise thing I just saw again, and that always tickles me. Yes, the Hellman's mayonnaise scented cologne. Wow. But Donald Trump recently told rally goers in Pennsylvania that one upside of rising sea levels is that you'll have more beachfront property, right? Woohoo! Experts say that rising seas will in fact reduce the length of coastlines and the area of dry land in general. So even when he's trying to make, and it's not a joke, he's trying to show why it's wonderful that we have this climate problem and what it can do for us as a people. He's wrong. He doesn't. I don't think he's ever met a fact that he liked unless he made it up. Okay, that's where I'm at. Okie doke. Here's something that I thought was really important for those of you worried about which way the state of North Carolina will be voting. Is it is it blue? Is it red? Is it purple? Woodland, North Carolina has rejected a proposed solar farm after residents expressed fears that it would consume too much sunlight. What are they teaching science down there? Have they ever taught science down there? I live down there. There seemed to be science being taught, and one would certainly think that they would know on the simplest of levels, just the most instinctive of levels, that if the sun is coming down, that the solar farm couldn't possibly suck up sunlight because there's sunlight all around the solar farm stuff. And I have to say this aloud without screaming, and even if I screamed it, they wouldn't hear. Because they would, I guess it's the same thing as a hearing aid, that you don't really want a hearing aid because it takes all the sound out of the air. Wow. Resident Jane Mann told the town council that the farm would steal sunlight that the plants need, while another resident warned that it might suck up all the energy from the sun. Yeah, that's what solar farms do. That's what they're there for. I suck up all the energy from the sun. It is, pounding us on a daily basis. The council, by the way, rejected the proposed solar farm, despite assurances that solar panels do not draw additional sunlight. Really? Wow. Wowie wow. Wow. What does it take? I mean, What assurances did they? You bring somebody. How do you explain to these people? I mean, I kind of understand. I've talked about this before. How someone can uh, really believe that not believe in what's happening with the climate, or that they're not worried about it because the Earth uh, will only last 10,000 years, and therefore we're coming to the end anyway. And so there's nothing to worry about because we're checking out anyway, and that's just part of the deal. I get that. But to be that ignorant, and it's the only word that can be used is ignorant, to have scientists show up, and you don't even need a scientist. You walk outside, you put some solar panels down, you stand there, you have a little patch over here where you're growing stuff. Yeah, I got to come up with an experiment. I have to find an experiment for them. This is why I'm not screaming. Um, I'd be shrieking through this. And I want to really conserve my energy for what I know is coming, because if that's there, Lord knows what else is on the horizon. Um, finally, actually, along with my birthday, not finally, the world's oldest man, Britain's John Tinniswood, 112, attributed his longevity to just luck, saying you either live long or you live short, and you can't do much about it. And that seems to be true. Well put, John. Well put. What is the secret to it? I don't know. I know from my parents, it was having exceptional caregivers. It's really the bottom line. And two exceptional friends, Betty and Nancy, who oversaw um, my folks, Betty Ruano and Nancy Wilkie. And they really kind of kept tabs on my parents, and I am indebted to them forever. And I owe both of them emails and phone calls, but I'm too busy doing this and trying not to yell. And that it causes it might cause a ruptured aorta. Is I can feel the anger banging against my heart. Um, but I turned 76, and I would have to say that I got there by luck, because there are times that during high school and college that I did some things that, and then after that, I am just very lucky to be here and be able to spend time with all of you. Uh, Crayola has successfully, and I'll leave you with this because some of you may be truly interested in this outside of that Hellman's thing, and it kind of follows through, and maybe this will be the next few weeks of, in my Rantcast if these things keep popping up. Well, the Crayola successfully trademarked the smell of its crayons. Sure, why not? The company's initial application was rejected in 2018, but after Crayola appealed, the U.S. Patent Office issued a trademark for a smell described as a slightly earthy soap with pungent, leather-like clay undertones. I do like the smell of Crayolas. The CEO said the Crayola smell could be pumped into stores to trigger shoppers' childhood nostalgia. It certainly could. I'm certain people, and I think it would give them a comfort other than a lot different. It would be more comfortable than Hellman's mayonnaise smell. Okay, that's for sure. And especially for the Hellman's mayonnaise smell. I should have mentioned this last time. For the millions of people who were really Miracle Whip folks, the Hellman's mayonnaise smell is an anathema, a word that I've rarely had the opportunity to use. And but the Crayola smell, I think, is comforting. And even though I was shitty drawing with the Crayola, that smell, I guess, helped me relax as a child and may help me relax as an adult. Maybe I should have done this Rantcast with two Crayolas shoved up my nose. I will be back next week, and I will be uh, ready to be, yelling and screaming. I'm hoping your week ahead is good. I'm hoping that fall holds off a bit. I'm not a fan of fall. I could have gone on and on about that, we'll see how it goes. The weather is spectacular, and I hope it is wherever you are. And I hope that you had a magnificent Labor Day weekend and week, and enjoyed celebrating my birthday. And thank you all, everyone, for your birthday wishes. It really does mean a lot to me, and I appreciate you giving me attention that I don't really deserve. But thank you. Please continue, as I will say over and over again. Get out those rants, especially as things begin to wind down in terms of my touring and the time I'm devoting to it, and I'll be able to spend more time on the rants. And they're once again getting better and better and better. And just remember, edit them yourselves. Please edit them. Get it down to 3 paragraphs. It shouldn't be more than 5 minutes unless you've cracked the mother load. Okay. So please know how much this all means to me and what a privilege and a pleasure it is to spend time with you. From our friend Mildred Ellison, who's always got something good to say and finds some articles that just always tickle me. This one is terrific. Holy fuck! From an interview with RFK Jr.'s daughter, Kick Kennedy, in Town and Country magazine. Word got out that a dead whale had washed up on Squaw Island in Hyannis Port. Bobby, who likes to study animal skulls and skeletons, ran down to the beach with a chainsaw, cut off the whale's head, and then bungee corded it to the roof of the family minivan for the 5-hour haul back to Mount Kisco, New York. Every time we accelerated on the highway, whale juice would pour into the windows of the car, and it was the rankest thing on the planet. We all had plastic bags over our heads with mouth holes cut out, and people on the highway were giving us the finger, but that was just normal day-to-day stuff for us. And we all thought Mitt Romney was so fucking weird driving with his dog on the car roof. Brother, he got nothing on batshit crazy anti-vaccine RFK Jr. and his brainworms. On the plus side, RFK Jr. and Barron Trump ought to get along famously. Thank you, Mildred. Thank you. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. Nice to see you track that down. From Dean L Homsey. I am by no means a picky eater. You can put just about anything in front of me and I will devour it. But there's one food in particular that I cannot bring myself to eat. Goldfish. Those cheesy cracker snacks. It's not about the flavor or the texture or anything like that. It's the fact that they have smiles on them. It's weird, right? You hold one in your hand, you go to eat it, you're about to crush them into dust with your teeth and throw them into a vat of stomach acid, and they're freaking smiling at you. Why? Are they suicidal and overjoyed that I'm about to end their suffering? Or are they just living a happy life in general, and I'm some terrible monster coming along to devour them? Why the hell is my snack food making me question my personal morality? I don't need that kind of stress. I just want to eat my damn cheese crackers in peace. Is that too much to ask? That's why I say, thank the Lord for Cheez-Its. Well, Dean, that's the first time I've ever heard a hosanna to the Lord himself over Cheez-Its. But I was very excited to see them on my horrific flight the other day. They brought us they had bags of Cheez-Its. And I've really never noticed, when my hand goes in to grab some of those goldfish, I've never really noticed anything about them other than to get them as quickly to my mouth as possible. So thank you, Dean, for pointing that out. And I'm sorry your personal morality has been questioned by a snack food. This comes to us from an objective thinker. This is a response to, I believe her name is Julia Quinn. To Julia, I was listening to your rant last week and I had to do some research on what it is you were referring to. Now, before I get started, I need to inform you that I'm a mid-30s black male. And let me tell you this, our government doesn't care about you. They are so out of touch about what the people really want that at this point in our lives, that they are a never-ending, really not funny punchline. Want to know how I know this? Everything you were saying is what my community has been crying about for generations. Hell, at this point, I would just take human decency for crying out loud. No, I'm not here to have a pissing match about whose struggle is the worst, because in this day and age, we shouldn't have to go through this struggle just to be seen and heard by the people who make fucking laws that are supposed to protect us. Now, I will agree with the, I guess, immunity ruling on transgender kids. I have 3 children myself, and there is no way in hell I would let them make life-changing decisions before they are grown. They came to me and told me that they wanted to be called a member of the opposite sex. I would do that, but allowing to take blockers to align themselves with the opposite sex is where I draw the line. Puberty is an important part of your development, and I believe that blocking that would do more harm than good. And just like you said, that there are a lot of people who are glad they were able to do that, I bet there are a lot of people who wish they had allowed themselves to develop more before they started on their respective journeys. Look, I get what you're saying, but at the same time, kids, hell, dumb teenagers should never be allowed to make those decisions, because once you start there, there is no going back. That is an adult decision, not a child decision. Thanks, an objective thinker. Thank you, and thanks for responding. And Julia, if you've got something to say to that, feel free. I am here to read it. And just let me know that you're responding to the objective thinker. And it's a rough question. And I have not thought it through yet, but I do know that if a child needs to see itself in the sex that they're not, I do feel like they should at least be allowed the freedom to do that for a while. Sometimes it works in the direction, in the same way in which I've watched kids, and I'm not even going to say it, because then there'll be people go, well, you can't compare that. And I don't want to hear it. Okay? I really don't. I'm tired of like someone's logic being looked at as being, well, you don't get, and I don't. So I'm going to zip it for now. But at some point, I may bring it back. Thank you, objective thinker, for making me think. From the wife or the sister of Dean L Homsey. This is Heather L Homsey. I'm tired of my favorite products disappearing from the shelves. First, it was Archway Cookies when they stopped making iced spice cookies. For years, I stood forlornly in the cookie aisle, hoping they would come back. Fast forward to COVID times. For over a decade, my go-to breakfast was Eggo regular multigrain waffle, Wegmans peanut butter, and Dickinson's orange marmalade. Don't judge me on my breakfast. It works, and it's the perfect combination with my cup of joe in the morning. Eggo decided that I needed to buy their thick and fluffy waffles, which are thick and doughy. Dickinson's no longer has regular jars of orange marmalade, so I'm stuck buying cases of the little 1-ounce jars from Amazon. You know, the little jars found in hotel restaurants. Now I'm drowning in hundreds of little empty jars looking for a new purpose. Seed jars for the native gardeners in my community? Single-use candles? Landfill? Wegmans is the hero of this story. I can still get my peanut butter, but it's lonely without its allies. It's like the Fantastic Four was reduced to Fantastic Two. PB, peanut butter, and coffee. Come on, corporate America. Quit taking away the products that I love and providing subpar replacements. Think of your consumers. Well, You may have been the only one eating those archway cookies, but the waffle thing I fully get, and I don't really do that because I avoid carbs. I try to. It's good that you don't. It doesn't even phase you, and that's good. And I'm sorry that they've taken away these products, but others will come. Others will come. And I won't say buy a waffle maker. That was one of the few things my mother could make, waffles. I think it's why I never ate those frozen ones. From Gretchen Everly. Welcome back to Cleveland, Lewis. And I'm sorry we didn't get a chance to read this there, Gretchen. I am grateful to you for delivering this message as I am exhausted. I've got a good amount of gray in my hair, and the irrationality running rampant these days defies the logic I learned in community college. If I finished my bachelor's degree, I suspect I'd have a constant migraine. Here is the thorn in my side. Technology. These hoops we have to jump through. I choose not to participate in any porthole and am growing less tolerant of the ever-looming my chart. Here is the irony. I'm still here. I can even laugh while on an endless hold waiting for a human being. They are harder to find these days, but I'll wait. It's a joy to talk with an understanding representative who maybe has a grandma. We need more grandmas, I think. Thanks for being you. Lewis, happy trails. Thank you, Gretchen. And we do need more grandmas, and they probably should be the ones answering the phones because it really is important. I can't laugh. I'm glad you can. When I'm waiting, makes no sense. No reason to wait. And then when you get the person and they've asked you for the information to give to the machine, it doesn't get to the person. So fuck them. Okay? Fuck them. From Lisa Wallace. Thank you for this. Why do some people have to feel so compelled to insert their fuckety fuck opinion into a brief time of celebration? To proclaim some shit like, "Ooh boy, smile now, it won't last, anything could happen, and here's some proposed negatives for you." Shut the fuck up, you people who do this. We all need our moments of feeling good together. We need that. Yes, we do, Lisa, and I hope you've had some good ones this week, or if not this week, next week. And I understand your pain, and thanks again. Thanks to everyone who's been writing in. I really mean it. And for the ones that I've read, and for the ones that I've been able to read out loud, I read them all, and they give me great joy. And some make me very sad. But the joy comes from knowing that you're willing to share with me and others in this community of people who are sick and tired of being sick and tired. I enjoyed reading this from Christopher Johnson. What the fuck? Mayonnaise cologne? It's bad enough when someone messes up and puts that shit on something ordered when I specifically told them not to. Now, when I have a burger that looks like the cook ejaculated all over it, I have to smell that shit everywhere also? Is our society becoming one of such overindulgence we now need more triggers? Huh? I'd say the world has lost its fucking mind. But I'm pretty sure we're past that point. Oh, we're past that point. We're lapping ourselves, Christopher. we're really lapping ourselves. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thanks to all of you for listening to my Rantcast. If you have a rant you want to get off your chest, send it in to me at lewisblack.com/live. You can think of it as therapy, or whatever you want to think of it as. Just let it rip. And I want to thank the true stars of our show, the ranters, and the splendid rants they gave us. Lewis Black's Rantcast was created and hosted by me. Lewis Black. Our live rant audio was produced by James Salter. Our theme song by Chris Lane. Executive producer, Ben Brewer. Executive producers, Matt Kleinschmidt and Robert Kelly for the Laugh Button Podcast.